Let's talk about Eva Mendes. She is married to our boyfriend, Ryan Gosling, and she's talking about starting her family later in life. She didn't have kids till she was in her 40s. The two of them share two daughters. One is 8, one is 9. And she's previously, they're really private. We've talked about that on this podcast before. But she's previously, very recently, opened up about her decision to kind of pause her acting career and stay home and be with the kids. And now, in an interview with People, she's talking about why she's happy she didn't become a mom until her 40s. And she says, quote, "When I was 40, it was a big deal for people when I was pregnant, and it wasn't for me. And then I was 42 and I was pregnant with my second one. And people were like, oh my God, you're going to be so tired. That's why people have kids in their 20s. I was like, that's the most sorry, asinine thing I've ever heard. It takes more patience. In my 20s, I shouldn't have been around a child. I was just foul mouthed and smoking. I could not have raised kids in any other era of my life, but now for sure." And she also defends her choice to focus on motherhood and her family rather than her acting career, saying it was the easiest decision that she's ever made. And she said, "I was older and I knew that my kids are going to be little ones, and whatever I do or don't do right now is going to affect them for the rest of their life. Your career comes and goes, but kids, yeah, that was easy for me. They're just formative years. I wanted to be there for all of it." I love this so much. Katie, you and I were mid 30s when we started our families. I'm going to be 40 in September. I'm having a baby at the end of the month. So I really feel this deeply. Do you think you could have been a mom earlier in life?
No. I think for the people who were ready for motherhood in their 20s, I applaud them because that's so hard too. I think either way you look at it, it's challenging.
Yeah,
But I think for me especially, I really focused on my career. Like that was really the biggest thing in my life was career, career, career. And I worked tirelessly and so hard at it for over a decade, and I think I wouldn't have been emotionally ready to be a mom. And also, I didn't meet my person until I was in my 30s. Like, I can't even imagine bringing a child into this world with anyone other than Jason.
right.
I feel like that was just meant to be, my story. And I feel like the same for her. Like, maybe she and Ryan didn't meet until they met on that one movie, right? The
Yeah.
Between the Pines or the
Yep.
Pines or
In
something.
2011. So they've
Yeah.
been together a long time.
A while. So maybe they just, this was their journey. Like they wanted to have kids a little bit later and good for them. And I think we have to remember when I think about all the people who were, judgmental, like, oh, it's going to be so hard and you're going to be so tired. Who freaking cares? It's going to be exhausting either way you cut it. It's hard to have a baby. It
100%.
just is. It's a challenge. And so when I hear people like, naysaying that or trying to be negative about that, and people do it to me all the time. I literally got stopped in the Target um, supermarket. I literally got stopped in Target a few days ago, and a mom was like, "Wow," she could see I was pregnant, and then I had Kaya with me, and she was like, "So how far apart are they going to be?" And I was like, "Well, they're going to be around 14 or 15, probably 14 months apart." And she's like, "You know what?" I thought she was going to say something negative. She was like, "I have 4 under 3."
Wow.
Yeah.
Modern day
Twins.
hero.
Yeah. And so people do it and they do it all the time. And we have to remind ourselves of that. And I'm so grateful that she is speaking out. Like we said, she's very private, but I feel like she's shining such an important light. And I think the more people that do choose to have children later, good for them.
Yeah.
Who are we to say that that's a bad thing or spread negativity on their sunshine?
Right. And I think it's important to remember children are the greatest blessing. Starting a family is the best thing I've ever done. But would I be doing a disservice to a child to start a family when I'm not a fully formed adult? When I
Right.
am not a fully, when I haven't experienced life, when I haven't done all the things to be the best person I can be. And that journey never stops for self-improvement, but like to be the best mother, I think I had to experience a lot of the things that I did in my 20s and 30s. And I'm a more empathetic, sympathetic, loving, kind, nurturing person because I've gone through things and matured. And in my 20s, like we're all kind of selfish in our 20s,
Yeah.
And I think, do you have resent? I mean, again, I see women in their 20s having kids and crushing it. So I'm here cheering you on. I'll speak for myself. I was in New York City, in LA, wanting to just live a young person's life. And I
Yeah.
wasn't ready to be a mom. I was with Andrew, but we were not near ready until we actually started. And like you, I prioritized my career, and I'm glad I did because I achieved so much. I never have to question what if. Like,
Right.
you and I won Emmys. We have been featured on broadcast television. We are, standouts in our industry. But now I can kind of step back and feel like I did that. I achieved that. And whatever I get on top of that is icing on the cake. And now I can really be there for my family and do this season of life fully and have no regrets about it. So, I love this. I think whenever you start a family, just be ready for it because it's the most important thing you'll ever do.
Yeah. And if it's later in life, there's nothing wrong with that because we
No.
are proof of that.
Right. I will say though, this pregnancy is harder. So I
Oh,
know what
yeah.
she's saying. You're right. Pregnancy is tiring and exhausting no matter what, and being a mom is exhausting no matter what. But I do think there is something to being young and having a lot of energy and doing it. There is something
I
to
do
that.
agree.
But we
Yeah.
don't need to put that on someone who decided to start a family later in life. Like the things people decide it's okay to say,
I know.
ugh. We should do a
Ugh.
whole show about what not to say to pregnant people. I've experienced quite
Yeah.
a bit.
Not to say to pregnant people or what not to say to women.
Right. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.